Hello everyone. So today we are going to read Sonnet 29 by William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare is famous for his sonnets, for his plays and whatnot. He is the great bard of Avon. We all know that. Now this Sonnet 29 by William Shakespeare examines the power of love and human relationships to overcome a crisis of identity and the negative pressures of the world. William Shakespeare, uh, as he is famous for his sonnets, it is said that his sonnets are believed to be autobiographical. They are often seen as intertwined with his life and career, as we will see when we look at the context of Sonnet 29. Okay, so let's proceed with the text. What is sonnet? Before proceeding with the text, what is sonnet? A sonnet is a one stanza 14-line poem written in iambic pentameter. Now, I will take one class and I'll discuss about iambic pentameter and the prosody, figure of speech as well. The sonnet, which is derived from the Italian word sonetto, meaning a little sound or song, is a popular classical form that has compelled poets for centuries. The most common and simplest type is known as the English or Shakespearean sonnet, but there are several other types as well. With roots in Italy, the sonnet was perfected by poets such as Petrarch. Petrarch is the father of the sonnet, we all know that probably, and later adapted by English poets including Shakespeare, who popularized it in the English speaking world. Despite its strict structure, the sonnet has been utilized to explore diverse themes such as love, beauty, politics, and mortality. So, sonnet sonnet was perfected by Petrarch and then adapted by English poets. Shakespeare, um, Spencer, Sidney. Okay, so they are associated with sonnets. Not only them, but the other poets, other modern poets as well, they started adapting the form of the poem and they started writing sonnets. Okay, next we will see the poem. So, Sonnet 29 is dedicated to Mr. W.H. I hope you know about the identity of Mr. W.H. Mr. W.H. is the um, friend, is the main friend of William Shakespeare, and it is believed that he was the rumored boyfriend of William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare's rumored boyfriend is Mr. W.H. and the poem is written to Mr. W.H. The poem is um, a dedicatory poem to Mr. W.H. Anyway, so the poem goes like this. When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state, and trouble deep heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate, wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed. Desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with what I most enjoy content and least. Yet in these thoughts myself almost despising, haply I think on thee and then my state, like to the lark at break of day arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate, for thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings. So this is a very interesting poem, and now I will tell you how Sonnet 29 is started. So the very first lines, uh, first four lines I mean to say, is all about Shakespeare's frustration. So despite his success, Shakespeare faced significant challenges and criticism, and there was one university wit, Robert Greene. Probably you know about this person, Robert Greene. Robert Greene was a rival playwright, and he referred to Shakespeare as an upstart crow in a pamphlet published in 1592. Green's criticism, though aimed at disparaging Shakespeare, ironically highlights the rapid rise of Shakespeare's reputation. So that was a negative publicity for Shakespeare. Robert Greene, he criticized Shakespeare as an upstart crow, but that rapidly published rapidly made Shakespeare very popular. Okay, and he was more known. He got the limelight. So Shakespeare in Sonnet 29, in the very first line, he is saying that when in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state. So when I think about the other people, when I cry in all desperation, and trouble deep heaven with my bootless cries, and I cry a lot and trouble deep heaven. So here he used personification, deep heaven. So heaven is not a person and heaven cannot be deep, but here Shakespeare used the very adjective deep heaven with my bootless cries. Bootless means fruitless. So I cry a lot that, oh my God, what happened to me? I do not have any fortune. I am treated as a very poor person. So I used to cry all alone and look upon myself and curse my fate. And I look upon myself and I feel that I am not a worthy person. I curse myself for being such a foolish person. Wishing me like to born more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope. So wishing me like to one more rich in hope. So what do I wish? I wish to be I wish to look like somebody. I wish to be like somebody because I feel that I am a foolish person. Okay, and featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope. So I desire somebody's art, I desire somebody's scope, and I always want to be possessed with friends like my friend Mr. WH is. With what I most enjoy contented least, yet in these thoughts myself almost despising. Haply I think on thee, and then my state, like to the lark at break of day arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembered each wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings. Okay, so I desire this man's art, that man's scope, with what I most enjoy contented least, yet in these thoughts myself almost despising. So if we started living someone else's life, we will not feel contented. Shakespeare is saying that with what I most enjoy contented least, those thoughts myself almost despising, happily I think on thee. So when I'm troubled with all the negative thoughts, I think about you. And then my state, look to the lark at break of day arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For the sweet love remembered such wealth brings that then I scorn to change my state with kings. So whenever I think about you, whenever I feel for you, I seems like that I am the most um, important person. I am the rich person, and I do not want any kingdom because I have you. So, here goes the summary of the sonnet. In this Petrarch sonnet, the speaker describes himself in a state of despondency. So he is heartbroken. He do not know how to react when he is out of luck and despised by others, feeling like a cursed outcast out of God's favor, wishing he had other skills or wisdom or friends. If he just accidentally thinks about the subject, then his mental state rises. The speaker says his mood becomes like the lark at the break of day rising. Lark is a small bird, you know. There are two poems based on lark. If you know about the poem, please mention it. The lark is break of day arising to sing hymns at heaven's gate. So lark is a small bird, is a singing bird, and it can fly high. Hence, people believe that lark is the heavenly bird who sings song to the god. Just the memory of the subject's love makes him feel so lucky and wealthy that he would not trade his situation even to be a king. So, the importance of Mr. W.H. in Shakespeare's life. Shakespeare is saying that if I think about you, the sweet memory of yourself always reminds me that I do not need any money. I am wealthy. I am wealthy beyond measure as I have got you. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now, William Shakespeare's sonnets, including Sonnet 29, are believed to be autobiographical. I told you at the very beginning of the lecture, they're often seen as intertwined with his life and career, as we'll see when we look at the context of Sonnet 29. Understanding the background of Shakespeare's life and the pressure he faced can give insights into the themes and emotions expressed in his poetry. Okay, so I have talked about it. Now, figures of speech. In poems, uh, we know that the poets they use figures of speech in poems. This poem is also not an exception. So, what what are the figures of speech that has been used by Shakespeare in Sonnet 29? The first one is alliteration. Alliteration. I all alone beweep my outcast state. Alliteration. Alliteration is the repetition of the same letter. Here, all alone. A. So alliteration is all about creating repetition of the sound. Here, A. Sorry, I mean a later. Here it is A. All alone, and the emotive nature of the poem is clear in this line. The poet is feeling very emotional and he's saying that I all alone beweep my outcast state. Now simile. Hmm. So what is simile? Wish me like to one more rich in home. Sorry, hope. Wishing me like to one more rich in hope. So simile is about drawing similarity by comparing between two different things. And how will we understand, how will we locate simile in any sentence is that there will be some words. Example, like, as, such, such as. So here in this sentence, there is the word, particular word like, wishing me like to one more rich in hope. So this is all about the example of simile. Me like to one more rich in hope. Wishing me, so Shakespeare compares himself to another person who is rich in hope. Another one is personification. So, what is personification? Personification is a figure of speech where we gives where we give human attribution to the abstract concept. And here the abstract concept or abstract thing is heaven. Heaven is not a person. Heaven is not a person with ears. So heaven can never be deaf. So here, who is deaf? Here, deaf heaven suggests God. God. Okay. So deaf heaven means since we are treating heaven as a human being, hence this is the example of personification. Now antithesis. Antithesis is to emphasize um, the different things, the opposite or um, different meaning into one sentence. With what I most enjoy contented least. So we see the most and least, these two words are contradictory to each other, but they are situated in one sentence and they are giving us altogether a new meaning. So this line employs to emphasize the speaker's discontent even with the things they once found enjoyable. Once upon a time, some things were very much pleasurable to speaker, but now he is feeling discontent. And then the last one is hyperbole. Hyperbole. So what is hyperbole? Hyperbole, you probably have heard about hyperbole. Hyperbole means when we exaggerate something. Okay. So when we exaggerate something, when we exaggerate in such a way which is not possible normally or naturally. So here that scorn change my state with kings. Here this particular um, word scorn change my state with kings emphasizes the speaker's newfound sense of contentment and emotional fulfillment over material wealth and status. So finally, what does it denotes? That the speaker, that the poet is exaggerating his love for Mr. WH. Hope it is clear. Now the rhyme scheme. What is the rhyme scheme of the poem? It is A B A B C D C D E F E F G G. Okay, thank you.